Hello everyone, my name is Steven Zapata. I'm a concept artist, illustrator, online art teacher, and former instructor at Art Center College of Design. I would like to introduce you to my new drawing course, Form from Imagination, a course designed to help you draw with confidence from your mind. Maybe you want to be a professional illustrator or designer, maybe you want to be a master with a pencil, or maybe you just want to be the best artist that you can be. Beautiful goals. But it's not always clear how to improve the work that you do from imagination. Over the past 6 months, I've taken all of the little eurekas, tips, and essential exercises that gave me confidence drawing from my mind and compiled them into a sequential course. We start with the absolute foundations, covering the scientific nature of light and shadow, how to hatch, how to create flat tones, how to render spheres and cubes, and step by step, we move through combined shapes, complex shapes, organic shapes. We cover how to simplify extremely complex subjects like the head into basic shapes so that you can handle them more easily from your head. We look at how to understand and treat details. And by the end of these 14 chapters with over 50 video lessons, you'll be ready to do complex designs from your mind with fidelity and energy. And all the demos are done in pencil on paper, so you can do all of the assignments even if you don't have a fancy digital art setup. But I also have demos, instructions, and modifications to the assignments for those who do want to do them digitally. Here's how it works. Go to formfromimagination.com and sign up for the course. Download the assignment book and start watching the lectures. Do the assignments at your own pace. Take your time with them and use this self-study to develop your patience. When you're done, post your assignments in the exclusive community hub, and I'll personally critique your work with drawovers, diagrams, and advice. I want you to know, this course is no joke just because it's online. It is challenging content, and it is more complete than it would be if I was teaching this class at an art college as I have before. If I was teaching this class in person at Art Center today, I would just play these videos in class, knowing full well that they're the most concise, focused, edited, step-by-step way to convey the material. So I'm serious when I say, this course isn't just a substitute for a college-level course, it's better than a college-level course. And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars per credit and wind up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So thank you for checking out the course, thank you for watching this and for your support, and thank you for drawing and making your artwork. The world needs it. I'll see you soon. The year is 87039, new nonlinear time. It's been 50,000 years since Steven Zapata's final art stream, but we still live in a golden age defined by the gifts his stream bestowed upon mankind. Faster than light travel, eternal life, Steven cloning, and the keys to a truly galactic human civilization. My name is Stave Satapaz, a reminder clone of Steven Zapata, an exact reproduction of his personality as constructed by an AI compiling millions of hours of his original art streams. By all accounts, I'm exactly like the original Steven's public persona, just more muscular, exactly as he would have wanted. I travel the stars on my light tracer, a dream of Steven. My crew is, of course, all clones of Steven. Some of my officers are reminders like me, but not all. Some are bioclones, and yet others are aspectoids, clones who, instead of trying to capture his full essence, amplify a particular portion of the original Steven's personality. We've spent hundreds of years drawing, exploring, and philosophizing while snaking our way through the stars, spreading the good word of design. But we've had another, secret mission as we've cruised the cosmos. I, seek information on the legendary originals, Steven Zapata's true drawings that he flung wide across the stars at the end of his life on Earth, never to be seen again. My crew thinks I'm looking for them for the same reason all the other madmen do, because they would be valuable beyond all reason. But they don't know what I know, that a critical mass of originals in the hands of a trained reminder can provide a psychic link to the original Steven mind. Once I collect enough, I'll be able to fulfill my destiny and achieve psychological continuity with the original Steven. And through me, he will live again to usher in golden ages of art forever. Drawing Ascendant, The Eternal Chronicles of Stephen Zapata. Lasting Legacy 1, Epic 1. No. Monday. What? Monday, June the 12th is the day in the year where I find myself in the current era. Incredible. Hello to Estras, Muhammad, AWA, Emma Blomskog, Soko, Niklen, Korikrum Knocker, Estras, Munoz, Wall, Joe the Wizard, Lack Aslam, and his puffness. Oh wait, got a couple more. Bilbo Schmilbo, Johnny Pearson, Daryl Grant. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. I do invite you to draw a little bit on your Monday, as I will. As I will. Here I am. Just a little bit of work. Just something. Not a day without a line. How's everybody doing? Hey, Steven, how's the sky looking? Not bad today. I think today, well, the sky looks okay, but I actually haven't checked the air quality. It's been better. It's been better, but definitely not as bad as it was when we got the full brunt of those Canadian fires. It's hot right now. Feeling a little warm. Maybe a little hot tea will help me cool off a bit. My name is pronounced wrong. No, disaster of disasters, a great tragedy. I'm sorry. It's obviously pronounced Away. It's obviously Away, right? I should have known. That was foolish of me. Just gonna poke at this picture of this drawing, see if I think of any changes for the original edits that I want to make. Maybe some weird value stuff I could do to it. Look at that beautiful graphite, so cool. I do love me that sweet old graphite. I got another one in here I could work on too. I got this one as well from my morning sketch sesh a couple of days ago. I could poke at that. How's everybody doing? Everybody happily poking away in their art life? Whoops. Greetings from Germany, watching and enjoying your stream silently for 2 years now. Thank you so much, CAA. May you enjoy them, whether you watch them silently or whether you call in like you're doing now. Did this have the full drawing behind it? No, this is not the one. The original drawing has more of the legs in it, but I think I forgot to take a photo of the whole thing. I only had this cropped photo, but that's okay, or at least I'm gonna say that's okay. Maybe it's not okay. For all you guys know, as soon as I turn stream off, I'll just scream, I'll scream over it, over that one small thing. Just completely reveal that I'm not well adjusted and completely out of balance. Absolutely ready to be thrown into chaos by the smallest little thing. I know that I was doing well in Utah, creating all the while. Excellent. Excellent. Draw a little red diamond man in there, something for his fans. Dude, the red diamond man love is just incredible. I mean, something about him really connected with people. I guess that's why recently none other than DreamWorks purchased the rights to Red Diamond Man. That's right. I can announce it here first. Just from that one little glimpse, they knew there was a world-class property right there. Made a lot of money on this deal, not gonna lie. Full disclosure, I can't disclose how much it was, but the high millions to low billions was the licensing cost. And now they've got the rights for 6 months to get something greenlit. And if they don't, rights revert back to me. Rights revert right back to me, then it's time to sell them to the next person. So, you know, you guys might get your Red Diamond Man. You might get your Red Diamond Man if DreamWorks does right by us. You know, I thought it was a little unusual that they would do that in the middle of the writer's strike, but it's not my place to tell someone not to give me $850 million. Shit, I wasn't supposed to say that. Forget I said that. That's just a random number I made up. That's not how much they paid me. I made that up. Please don't tell Vanity Fair that number. Nick Ravioli, hello. Hello. Red Diamond Man will be in Boss Baby 4. That'd be awesome. Rob says, hey, Steven, a while ago I was a little averse to all of the spiritual stuff related to drawing, but I'm one of the ones feeling the extra dimensional state of being that's brought on by drawing. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know, that's why I put it out there. That's why I do my little part to remind people that that stuff's real. I am very happy to hear that, Rob. Very, very happy. Yeah, you know, it's like, it don't really matter if you're averse to it on a certain level. It's like, even if you're averse to it, you just might be on a head-on collision course with it. Not really up to you. I'm very happy for you. It's a wonderful time. That time where you're sort of like discovering that and realizing that that change is occurring. Ooh. Ooh. It's a wonderful time. Hey Mel, what's up? You planning out what to do on the drawing? Not in a rigid way. I'm just poking at it, seeing if anything interesting emerges, but if it doesn't, I'll just forget whatever I did here and just treat the drawing as a drawing. But if I do find anything interesting, yeah, I'll totally incorporate it into the pencil. Let's see what comes up. I just really needed something to start with for the stream. Got one of my dog's hairs in my eyelashes. Anything in the works, Stephen, or were you occupied with the Stanford talk? Yeah, May was really dominated by AI stuff. In May, I went to Washington to advocate on behalf of artists on the topic of AI, and then right after, I had to go to Stanford. And those things just require a lot of prep. That was the hole I disappeared to in May. As to, do I have anything in the works? Not really. I wouldn't say I have anything in the works. I'm always poking at projects and stuff like that, but nothing new like that or anything. I would say my main focus for the past year, my primary focus for the past year has been my course, has been Form from Imagination. I mean, at this point, if you guys aren't seeing me on stream, odds are good I'm doing one of two things. I'm giving feedback, or I'm reading articles about AI so that I know what the hell is going on. I'm gonna open this window more because there's a decent breeze coming through right now. And I want it to hit me. I want it to graze my body. Get on in here. Flow inside. Rakubi says, this drawing is what I want to look like from all the weightlifting I'm doing. I think that's realistic. I think you could probably get here pretty fast, you know. Just stick to your little starting strength routine. Focus on squatting and deadlifting and military presses. Drink a gallon of milk every day. You'll look like this in no time. I don't doubt it. Hello, Chady on fire. Chady on fire, Chady on fire. Animate Sam says, been referring your course to a few peeps who want to get better, so it's much appreciated. That's wonderful. I really appreciate it. You know, we spread through word of mouth here. You know, I just run my little ad at the beginning of the streams, but I don't buy ads or place ads anywhere. It's all word of mouth that my stuff spreads, so everybody who shares and stuff like that, I greatly appreciate it. You are directly contributing to my livelihood. That's quite wonderful, of course. Sometimes I like to see what I could do with a little color stuff. I never like it. It's just for fun. I literally never like it. Like what I'm about to do right now, where I wash some colors over this kind of drawing to see if there's some nice way to color it. I've been doing it for years. I've done it thousands of times. There has not been one single time that I've liked the result, but I keep digging. For some reason, I'm just like, maybe one day I'll get the right combination of the right mood, the right color thinking, and the right base drawing that the colors will work, but they literally never do. Did you move into an airport recently? No, but sometimes there is an airport that way. I mean, New York City. It's like there's only so far you can get from an airport. And just at some time of day, there's always some time where like 5 helicopters will go overhead in the space of like a half hour. And I think I happened to stream it right that time. But the helicopters always stop. They come in like a wave or two. Isn't that because the shadows aren't colored yet and the background is also grayscale? Just testing my art IQ? No. I mean, if we were just looking at this one example, you could say that that would be something to test. What I'm talking about is on a grander scale, I have just tried everything. I've tried transparent overlays. I've tried painting opaquely over. I have tried doing it completely from scratch in color with just the black and white pencil drawing as a reference. I've tried everything, like so many permutations of process and things like that. And of course, in most of them, always prioritizing colorizing the shadows the way that you naturally would if you were painting from scratch. And it's just, I don't know. There's something in my mind where if I first created it as a monochrome, it's simply, I don't like the color. My mind will not be satisfied with any color version. And that has been hugely educational for me, and that has actually taught me a lot about what I think I like in art and some of the key differences between color and monochrome. And that is why when I do color work, I always start in color. I don't start, or if I do black and white, it's for a very limited time, right at the beginning. The color always has to be in there early if I want it to be a color work. Did you try drawing with your feet? No, I did not. Why so confidential about trip to DC? Yeah, I don't know what to tell you why. It's just, that's how it is. I wish I could give you a good why, but sometimes, you know. As I like to say on here often, there's different kinds of games in the world. I can say what I did, you know, I can say that I went and I did that and I met with staff and advocated and all that, but it is considered bad form to reveal who you met with until they have revealed that you met with them or that they have had meetings based on those topics. That's just the way it is. I gotta play by their rules if I want to help, so. Ahmed Al-Duri. What's up, buddy? All right, calm down. Don't say stuff like that to me. It's become a very different kind of stream. Easy with that. You still owe me a phone call. Don't think I'm gonna forget. Too low contrast for my pocket gradient maps to look that nice. Actually, that looks kind of cool. That's just weird, right? That's odd. What an odd thing. I kind of like that. I like how it looks like a patina. I think it's like an oxidizing sculpture. I quite like that, actually. Let's save that and then let's bake all of that. Wait, you still do art by hand? Just type it out, shaking my head. Thomas Sage asked, do you know of and or recommend any books by James Gurney? I'm currently reading Color and Light and find that it's been pretty helpful. I like Color and Light. I'd recommend that one. His other one, Imaginative Realism, which is the book that he made before Color and Light. I really like that one too. I thought that was a good one. I'd recommend that one. It says, actually, I have some spicy thoughts on AI. Perhaps I'll head to New York this week if you want to record it live in studio for episode 1 of our podcast. Yeah, I'm in. Well, wait. This week's not horrible, actually. I'm looking at my calendar. Yeah, keep in touch. Let's talk. This week's not horrible. If you're here next week, you'd be around for my birthday. My birthday's... I'm not going to say that on stream because then they're all going to get... Then it's all going to be about, oh, we got to wish him a happy birthday. I am going to be away from home this weekend, though. Out at my in-laws for Father's Day, so keep that in mind. I'm impulse. I'll drive to New York tomorrow. You're very impulsive. I'm as pure impulse. Yeah, let's talk. I don't know. I know you love the impulse, but maybe we could plan a little bit. Because I'd like to be able to put you up. Since I have more room now. You could crash in my living room or something. But I got to get an air mattress. I've been meaning to replace my air mattress, but I don't have one right now. I got to order it. Hello, Zane. I do always like the way these things look small. I just don't like them zoomed in. Kind of a nice abstraction in this area. Oh, right, I was going to Airbnb. I love talking about private plans publicly on stream. All right, I see, I see. What are your top 5 books or so for artists to read? Like purely reading books? I'll just give my usual answers. Drawing Lessons from the Great Masters by Robert Beverly Hale, and Practice and Science of Drawing by Harold Speed. They're very old-timey. They're not going to be stuff that everybody wants to read. You know, the language can be a bit of a barrier just because it's not very, it's not in a contemporary voice for the most part. But I think those books are great. They cover the nature of design, not like the principles of design, but like the weird stuff, philosophical stuff, like the idea that you are supposed to invent things and not just copy things. There's very few books that grapple with that in depth. No one really makes books like that anymore, and those do. Those grapple with it directly. Practice and Science of Drawing especially sort of gets into like the foundational reasons that designing things works at all, which is very interesting. Have you read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle? I'm assuming you mean. Interestingly enough, I read The Power of Now, or some portion of it, it's hard to remember now, when I was very young, when I was like 13 years old. It's hard to remember now. 13, 14, something like that. I'd say somewhere between 13 and 15 years old. I read The Power of Now. My sister had a copy on her bookshelf when I was visiting her in California. And I didn't ask her about it or anything. I was just curious, and I grabbed it and read it, and I was like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? And I would say that that was my first youthful introduction to meditation. I mean, you know, again, whenever you mention meditation, people could argue like, Eckhart Tolle's not teaching meditation. It's non-dual Advaita Vedanta stuff, Stephen. It's like, yeah, okay. But that was my first introduction. And then I remember walking around California as a kid after reading that, sort of like not understanding what I was doing, sort of doing like a non-dual pullback where I was like, oh shit, it's all just right here, you know? Oh, good times. Ahmed says, I sit in shame having not read the books Steven mentioned. They're not for everybody. They are definitely not for everybody. I like them, but I think I've recommended them to people, and people have tried them and are just like, what the hell is going on here? Like I said, they're very old-timey. The language is not for everybody. Practice and science, drawing lessons from the great masters is also, don't get it confused with anatomy lessons from the great masters, which is a different book. That's just like quotes from Robert Beverly Hale's lectures. Drawing lessons from the great masters is a book Robert Beverly Hale wrote. It's not transcripts of lectures or anything like that. That book is just a great drawing book. It's a great drawing manual. It makes a lot of great points about drawing, how to draw, how to think while drawing. Harold Speed's book is not really a great drawing book. It doesn't do much in the way of instructing on how to draw, at least not in like a contemporary way. It's like, if you've ever been interested in like the philosophy behind drawing, I'd say that's the best gateway, possibly the only gateway that anyone has written so far. It's like, it's one of the few books that is interested in like the philosophical intertwining between the artistic drive and vision and how we view the world and things like that. Samuel Eli likes Drawing Lessons from the Great Masters. It's a great book. Emma Blomskog giving Ahmed love. Stephen, what's your favorite example of architectural revitalization? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm thinking of that term in the way that you mean. So I don't know. You mean like an era coming back around, or a style coming back around, or reusing an old space for something new? I do not know who Monster Garden is. It's kind of looking like some cocoon cricket alien right now. Yeah, it looks very strange. I'm just messing around. I'm seeing what happens if I totally edit the base drawing into some other thing, just because I like the color and value field of that middle unit right there. What's the Harold Speed book again? That is The Practice and Science of Drawing by Harold Speed. If you want an analysis of it while you read it, I think James Gurney did like a chapter by chapter book club of it not too long ago. I meant reusing old spaces. I don't know. I mean, there's tons of great examples. It's a little hard for me to summon a favorite. I mean, I used to look at so many examples of those back when I was working in like themed entertainment and real world spaces. Just as like a general category, and there's many examples, but like a thing that is no longer being used being turned into a children's playground or play structure, that's always favorite stuff. I mean, some of them look like really dangerous, you know, but it's such a cool thing, and it seems like the kids love it so much. Like kid-proofing like an old derelict boat, and just like having slides and stuff, jumping in and out of it, and nets to leap off of and stuff like that. Like things like that I always thought were such a cool reuse of structures. There's a lot of like empty warehouses that haven't been turned into things like that. For places I've personally been to, I used to go to this bar in LA called the Edison that was in like the electrical generator room of this giant skyscraper in downtown LA. You could like sit and have cocktails with like these huge, like 60-foot tall, old-timey electrical dynamos behind you. That was super cool. That's a great reuse of a now defunct basement space. This is starting to look like another branch on your world tree drawing. So cool to see the forms develop. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'll come back to that. Let me think about that for a bit. Let me poke at this guy a little. I don't know, I'm just in the mood to react to sketches and doodles that I have laying around. He scraped his knee. God, my leg. Oh God, I'm scary and I fell. Hey Steven, I've started making a plan for how to work on my art during the summer, hoping to get things done for my portfolio. How have you planned long-term effectively for this over the years? You know, the good thing about a summer is that it's very controlled, right? You know, let's say, you know, however long you're thinking about summer, but let's say you're thinking of summer as 2 months, right? If you're off like July, August, could be more or less, don't matter. It's 8 weeks. You know, you've got these 8 easily controlled segments. So you just say, how much realistically can I get done in a week of work? You plan that out across 8 times, 8 weeks. I've talked about this before in like the workshop, so I'm sure you saw me demonstrate it at some point, but like it's always been spreadsheets. When I've got something really specific to get done, it's just spreadsheets, which is boring, right? It's not super exciting, but for stuff like that where you've got a particular goal that you're trying to do and you've got a particular period of time, spreadsheet is the way to go, at least for me. Quinacridone gold is ridiculously beautiful. Oh, I bet it is. Drive-by commenter says, I was thinking about your fear of bespoke art when replaying Cyberpunk, particularly the brain dances. It would suck for art and entertainment's future to be reduced to a mere digital drug. I'm not familiar with the brain dances, but if it's a version of bespoke art, then I'm sure it's suitably dystopian, dude. Suitably dystopian. What's going on here? Corey says, okay, time for me to pick up a pencil and draw. Good, good, good. I think I got some construction about to start across the way here, so just give me a might close my window, go get my fan in a minute. Well, let's see. Let's not be so quick to judge. Let's not be so quick to judge. Ahmed says sick anatomy, emphasis on the sick. Disgusting. Hideous. Look what your careless hands have wrought. These sins against nature are what you call your art. Lo, may God make you realize just how deranged you are someday. Until then, you are truly lost. That's what Med said to me. I can always read between the lines. He says sick anatomy, but what I said is what he really meant. Is what he really meant. I know. He can't trick me. I've known him for too long. What archetype are you today, Stephen? You know, I think I'm always the same. I'm always the same thing. Just infinite peace and joy, undying compassion, never angry, never mad, never seething right under the surface. Just pouring my life force over the cliff's edge that is the present, like an undying waterfall, moment after moment, day after day, year after year. Lies, I've seen your warrior archetype. Emma says, Stephen, can you show me a quick example of the spreadsheet, unless it's exclusive to workshop peeps? No, it's not. I can, let me just think of which would I have. Oh, they're not in my history. Give me a second. Just go to my sheets here. No, don't try sheets. I've tried sheets many times. I want to look at my sheets. I want to look at them. All right, let's pick a sheet that is not my personal finances. Most of them are my personal finances. Okay, here's a sample one that I show all the time. So this is what I mean by spreadsheet. So you take whatever you are doing, whatever you are trying to get done, whatever you're trying to achieve, whatever. And you can arrange it any way, you know, it's just whatever is useful for you. But what I have here is each task that needs to get done is on the left side in a column, right? And you can make your spreadsheet as sophisticated as you want. I'm not good with Excel, so mine is very naive. But you put each task. So this is an example of a brief design portfolio. So if you were going to do a concept art portfolio for one story, one project, 16-ish pages is like, that's a good middle area. You probably don't want to go that much higher than that. You probably can't show a lot of breadth in like less than 8, you know? But there's multiple things on each page. So on the left is up here, number 1, for example, main character, final, with a back shot and some action sketches, right? You can pick whatever you want. You can use comparables of portfolios that you like to decide what goes on each page. You could do all of this before you even draw anything. And then at the top, along this row, you write each step that you need for your process. So it's completely just about your process. You write each step that you need for you to get that done. So I like to do really ground floor as the start. So literally my first step is have an idea. That's before anything else. You need to have an idea before you can actually start executing on anything. So you have the idea, sketchbooking, reference gathering, real sketch, resolve drawing, color thumbs, final color, bonus drawings, page layout. Always put the layout, how you're going to present it, put it on the list because that takes a while. So you need to make a space for it. When a step is in progress, change it to orange. And when a step is done, change it to green. And then when you are really crunching, your whole goal in life is to just make every box green, just become obsessive about it. And I like this because it breaks it down into, like, you see I did the math here. If you just do the math on the boxes, you just have to do 144 things to finish your portfolio. And it's very visual, so you get to just get the satisfaction of see it creeping up ever closer, you know, and you get more momentum. You just see, I just got to do that block of things, you know. So that's what I mean by spreadsheets. And I use that sample one because it's clearer than what a real one looks like. A real one gets pretty, because you wind up skipping steps and things like that. Like, I'm looking for one. Here's an older Paradise Lost one. So it gets pretty hairy pretty quickly. You know, you get a lot of yellows you get yellows ahead of greens, greens ahead of yellows, reds. You can put reference images and process steps on the other side of the sheet if you want, things like that. Do you not set deadlines for each? You can, but I just didn't put any, I didn't put any in the sample. But of course you can set deadlines for each if you want. And some people, you know, there's so many ways to do it. I mean, you can use, like project management software is very common now, you know. Maybe if that was common when I first needed a solution for this problem, I would have done that. It says, you hear that, Steven? I do weird Zapata drawing and you draw Animal Girl with sparkly eyes? Dude. Don't lock me in that hell, please. Please, it's not fair. Don't lock me in there. Where can we get more guidance like this? Obviously nowhere. Obviously nowhere. It's only here, baby. It's only here. And you get the course, of course. Someone's saying, can you post this, please? Let me... Anyone with the link is a viewer. Let me make sure that I write on this that this is public. There you go, for anyone who just needs it as a reference. Please, anyone who's looking at that, don't think that the 16 tasks that I put on the left side are like how you make a design portfolio. Like, oh, that's what a design portfolio needs. No, those are just arbitrary examples. I think I did what if I remember correctly, when I made this, I did what I advise people to do, which is I just picked a comparable, like someone's design portfolio that I liked, and I just went page by page, and I was like, what's on their first page? A main character final with back and action shots, and I wrote that for each slot. Then their final villain design was on page 10. I just wrote final on page 10. So it is just an example. That is not what a design portfolio needs. There's no rules for that or anything like that. And for you, I think I advise you do the same thing, kind of. You look for comparables. So you look for complete design portfolios, which are a little hard to find. You got to dig for them from people who you like. You pick a couple that are like your benchmark, and then you can do your comp like that. So obviously, don't rip them off. Ripping people off doesn't make you a better designer. It's just an armature if you're doing a similar project. You say, all right, they showed 3 environments, they showed 4 characters, they put the characters first, the environment second. Just use that as a starting place. If you're doing your own project and you're an artist of any salt at all, you're gonna need to change it anyway. There's no way that a portfolio for one project would work for another. So you're gonna have to move pages around, add pages, remove pages. So it's naturally gonna change. You just need a starting point. So enjoy that. Feel free to spread it. Actually, how's the course going? Are you still behind the scenes with the students giving feedback? You bet. Yeah, the course is going very well. There's new people posting assignments every day. And yes, I still give feedback. Yes. The feedback rolls on. Though I am going to, I forgot to say that for this stream, I think. For anybody who is considering getting the course, I am planning on putting out a version with no feedback at a reduced price early next month. That's currently the plan. I do not have the price yet. I am still crunching numbers on that. I will announce the price once I have it. But right now I have not settled on the price. So I don't want to throw out a number. I don't want to throw out a number that then it doesn't wind up being. But for anyone who's considering getting the course, do factor that into your purchase considerations. If you already know you want the feedback, you're good. I mean, it's ready to go. You can pick it up. But if you have been weighing getting it, not getting it, and you're open to no feedback for reduced price, that's coming. Hey Stephen, you said in the past that a long drawing you learn things. What is it about long sessions? Is 5 hours considered long? It's different for each artist. You know, a long session. What I mean by a long session or a long drawing is for your level of ability and for the work you want to do, getting all the way to the end where you're refining as carefully as you can. And for most people, it's just, there's no way that could be happening fast. That can't be happening an hour in or something like that. It's by definition, for most pictures, you're not refining anything an hour in, you're laying down initial information. Even if you're very effective and very fast at laying down initial information, there's just no way you could really be refining as much as you're capable of. So when I say a long session or the stuff that there is to learn about drawing that's hidden on the other side of 50 hours or something like that, it's that, getting out to the level where you're trying to refine as much as possible. And I want to make clear to people that does not mean rendering. For a lot of people, it will include rendering. For me, it includes rendering, but it doesn't have to. You can render nothing. It can all be solid, simple shapes, but you can be really applying yourself to arranging those simple shapes as beautifully and stunningly as possible. And there's really, you know, the process can make it all very weird. It's not just about hours spent and things like that. Like I think about the famous stories of Sargent having a sitter return for their portrait every day for weeks, and every day he scrapes the head down. He redoes the head from scratch. If you added it all together, it's probably many hours on the head. It's just that he's trying to arrive at the most distilled initial execution for the information that's in the head. So it's still a long session. It's still hyper refinement, but it's refinement that aligns with Sargent's process, right? He's not well, he does plenty of rendering, but it's not like glassing the surface like Bouguereau or something like that. So for him, he could maintain the bravura and the energy, but he's restarting from scratch every time, and he's painted the head maybe 25 times by the time he says it's good enough and that he's done with it. So it's not to be thought of as just a concrete, like your refinement means you're 100 hours in. It's like, it will be that for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be, right? It's all flexes with people's process. Sounds like making a cathedral in your own way, perhaps a monument that cannot be rushed. I like that. I like that. Yes. I love the idea of, I love it's amazing to me that people spent their whole lives working on cathedrals that they knew when they started that they would never see them finished. I love that. Who does anything like that anymore? Like, that's so awesome. Imagine starting when you're like 16 as like a builder's apprentice and knowing you'll work on this one building your whole life and it won't be done by the time you're dead. Fuck, man. I think that's awesome. What about pyramids? I mean, pyramids are all right, but the problem with pyramids is that the UFOs land on them. UFOs don't land on cathedrals. I don't really like that. It's just, who knows why? I mean, it just doesn't, I don't know. The spiky spires or something just don't work. Maybe there's like an aesthetic problem with sort of hovering the UFO over all the crosses or something like that. They just don't do it. But UFOs, they'll chill on pyramids, chill around pyramids, chill inside pyramids all the time. That's not. We're not doing that. That I'm not cool with. I'm not down with that. Anything that brings UFOs near, anything that UFOs chill on, I'm just against it, dogmatically, ethically, at a ground floor level. I'm not doing that. Just keep them away, all right? Freaking aliens. God dang UFOs out of here. I don't want anything to do with that. How's the smoke fire going? It's all right. Air quality is not the best, but it's moderate. At least the sky's blue again. Honestly, I'd be cool with the smoke coming back if it meant the UFOs couldn't see me. Yeah, block out the sun. Protect us. They probably drawing. Is there some hack for not letting your eyes get accustomed to a drawing when you're working on it for a long time? I mean, people flip their canvas and stuff like that, but you can get used to the flip version as well. So if you're going to use canvas flipping for that, try to put it off for as long as possible so that it maintains its potency. If it's for like a really long session. I guess not long as possible, but just don't do it that much. You get what I'm saying? Like if you've got flipping on like a hotkey and you keep flipping it back and forth like this, like, oh, a couple strokes back this way, oh, a couple strokes back that way, oh, a couple strokes back this way, you're going to get used to both versions, and then it doesn't do the same thing. Besides that, just take breaks. Take as long a break as you can. Next time you get frustrated with a drawing, take a break that lasts 40 years. Stop drawing forever, preferably. Not that you could. Not that you could. You're obsessed. You couldn't stop if you tried. You couldn't stop if I paid you to. You'd keep coming back. Start sneaking in drawings while you're on the toilet. You're like, Steven will never know. I'll get to keep his $100. Next time you get frustrated with a drawing, let the aliens finish it. Guys, stop. Stop talking about them. Ain't you seen The Fifth Kind? If you don't think about them, they can't come for you. Stop mentioning them. You're making me think about them. Stop it. Please. Please. Ahmed says, this always at peace guy already showcased like, stupid hearts in my way. What is it? What's the number? 9. 9 different archetypes. Clear personality disorder. Ahmed's always doing this to me. He's always gaslighting me like this. That's not cool, man. He's always like, oh, Steven, you're crazy. Oh, Steven, you're a narcissist. You have narcissistic personality disorder. Oh, Steven, you were sleepwalking last night. You got into bed with me. What was that about? Oh, Steven, you're scaring people. Stop yelling at the people that you love and my mom like that. Oh, Steven, you're disassociating. Get down off the roof. Steven, don't jump. What are you doing? He's always saying stuff like that to me in all these different varieties of contexts, trying to make me think that I'm crazy, that I'm the crazy one. When I've got my eye on him and all the stuff that he does, he thinks that all the stuff he does is so normal. You kidding me? You please, I know you. I know you. I'm not going to blow up your spot. I'm not going to blow up your spot live on the internet. But it's you. It's you. Nah. You made me fuck up my gradient now. Now you made me... It's in the wrong place now. Made me undo it. You made me waste and undo. There's only a limited number of those, you know. You only get so many in a document. Now I can't find lighter color blend mode because I'm thinking about how mean you are to me. Whoop. I closed my layer factory. There it is. Always at peace. Always at peace. My TV vibrated from him raising his voice there. Nice. Nice. Anyway, this is a great lesson in considering the trapezius from a top angle, rarely seen. Ah, yes, rarely seen. Steven, that is a nice foot. Easy, perverts. Easy. How many times I got to tell you? Don't mention them. Are they excellent? Yes. Do they need to be talked about? No. Because it'll begin a flood of comments and investigations that we don't want to open the door to here. Easy, perverts. For real though, Steven, are you an alien? I wish. Then I could feel safe. And I wouldn't have to be afraid of aliens. Steven has a secret Feats Gumroad, by the way. Come on, man. You signed a fucking NDA. Jesus. Why you make me sue my friends like that? Bye, pup. She needed to switch beds. How's the weather? Not bad. Got a nice breeze rolling in to my bedroom right now. Air quality is moderate. They say within acceptable levels for New York City, whose air only gets so good. Actually, New York City's air is actually pretty good compared to a lot of metropolitan areas, they say. That's what I learned. That's what I learned from the encounter with the wildfires. Can I get rid of this? I could, yeah. Hey, I don't chat much here, but I was wondering what drawing pencils do you like to use? I use all sorts of pencils, but mainly I like Staedtlers, Faber-Castells. My favorite pencil, like if I just had to use one, it'd be a 0.5 mechanical pencil with HB lead. That's usually what I use. Oh, and black colored pencils. I like black colored pencils a lot. They're nice to use for dark darks, for fast sketching. Feels like a it feels like a mummy in a display case or something like that. Like if I just put some lights above it like this. Looks a little bit like UFOs. I don't like that. It was an accident, but I would kind of wish that hadn't happened. It just looks a little bit like UFOs. Looks a little bit like UFOs. And it doesn't really, it kind of looks like a gray alien, you know, because it's gray. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I should keep working on it anyway. Yeah, it looks like a mummy in a display case if I do just that. A couple lights. Yeah, there's like a little info placard here. Like mummy and display case. It has like some diagram over here. It's like 85% of mummies are your mom or something like that. And it's text. Yeah. Classic real world stuff. You gotta put a stupid kid's head silhouette right in the front. Stupid kid's head is muddying up my awesome drawing. Like, wow, Mom, look. Wow. What are we talking about? How do I get involved in all this crap? All right, I don't know if I want to keep on going on that. Let's sketch some new stuff for a little bit. We poked at these things. We poked suitably. What was the mummy's occupation pre-mummification? A zealot of the red diamond, perhaps? These red diamond fanboys. They can't get enough. And it's insane that red diamond man propaganda like that is coming from Dino Blaster, Dino Blaster, Dino Blaster, yeah. I think my neighbors heard that. I can't stand this red diamond man propaganda. This mummy, guys, what happens when you decide to become an artist in the AI age? You get mummified. Well, watch out, dog. You get mummified. Step back. You get mummified. My sister once, back when I was living with her in Santa Monica, one day she woke up, she was super excited. She was like, dude, I came up with a superhero, like a real one. She wasn't fucking around. She doesn't fuck around about stuff like this. She woke up super excited. She's like, I came up with an idea for a superhero that's like, I think it's amazing. I think this is the next big thing. I'm like, what is it? She's like, this superhero's power is that he can magnetize people. I'm like, that's Magneto. She's like, no, Magneto can move metal. This guy makes people into magnets. After that, I really stopped trusting her a lot. I really stopped trusting her a lot after that. Now, every time I think of Magneto, I think about that. Magnus Marshall says, that's made it into my top 10 superpowers now. Don't tell my sister that. You'll encourage her. I can't be having that. Then I'll never stop hearing it from her. She'll be like, see, I told you it was a good idea. That's like the perfect sidekick for Magneto. I don't know what. You guys are giving her way too much credit for this. I remember too. So I critiqued her pretty severely for this idea. She was like, "Yeah," and then she even had like a catchphrase. She was like, "Then what he does, he could say you're magnetized." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're magnetized." That's too factual, too, to be a catchphrase. There's like no double entendre there. It's not clever. Draw him? There's no way I'm drawing him. I don't even know, because it's like you'd need, I mean, there's him, right? But it's like he's doing this thing to other people. It's like, it's more the, like, what do I do? But do they get a magnet on their head? I mean, what he does says nothing about him. I mean, it's a huge design challenge, because it's like if I put the magnet on his head, then you assume he's the magnet, but he's not the magnet. The subject is the magnet. This is what I'm like in meetings, by the way. All I do in professional meetings is talk myself in circles about how this isn't a good idea. I'm real helpful in a meeting. All the villain's last words would always be criticizing his catchphrase. You're magnetized? That's so stupid. What are you talking about? That kind of became Vegeta at the end there. My first thought was that she was able to magnetically charge people so they'd attract or repel each other. Yeah, see, you guys are doing way too much free work for my sister. There is no way that's what she thought. That makes way too much sense. Look, I pushed her on this. She did not have any follow-through. She didn't know she didn't know what the result would be. I mean, that only made me angrier, because I was like, why do you think it's a good idea? Like, she didn't know what it meant or how it would be used. So I was like, why, if you don't know how it's gonna get used, how could you think it's a good idea? The confidence, the fucking confidence is what drove me crazy. The confidence of it. She was like, well, I don't need to know, I just know it's great. Sweating. It's not a good idea. You're magnetized. All right. All right. We're all right. We're all right. Sounds almost like some sort of religious vision. I wouldn't put it past her. I missed a question earlier. Someone actually asked me a real question. There we go. Lizzie Parker said, when starting out, did you draw from photo reference? Yes. Yes, I did. I still draw from photo reference when it's appropriate or just when I want to. But yeah, I definitely did it more when I was starting out. But I also want to emphasize that I always drew from my head as well. I never went through a period where I only worked from reference. I never did that. All throughout my years, through all of the different modes and pedagogies that I interacted with and ways of thinking about art that I had, I always drew from my head still. There was never a period where I only worked from reference. And I would advise that everybody do something similar, if your goal is to do imaginative work from your head. I think that that's sort of a separate muscle that needs to be getting built up the whole time. Don't only work from reference hoping that you'll sort of like be able to do it well later, be able to do imaginative work well later. It doesn't work out. You've got to always be practicing it. ABI, always be imagining. When you say drew from your head, did you supplant it with reference or entirely from memory? It is appropriate when you push something pretty far, even something that you're doing mostly from imagination. It's always irrelevant to bring in reference at some point, right? Like if I was going to push this all the way, it'd be silly for me to not look at reference for the sword, right? Like I should look at some historical reference or something for material at some point, right? But I almost think it's like a you know it when you do it kind of a thing. It's you know in your guts if a piece is mostly based on reference or if it's mostly based on your imagination and then supplanted with or then supported with reference. So when I say that I always worked from my head, I always mean that. I was always doing a considerable amount of work where even if I referenced later on, it was always clear to me, like, this is mostly out of my head. This is the initial idea, a lot of the work. There's a lot of editing of references going on, things like that. I had a real question. How much should I focus on what I'm already good at, figures, and how much should I branch out to other subjects, environments, for example? My blanket advice there is always, it depends on what your goals are. I've got a nuanced and complicated view on goals too, but just as a conventional way of speaking, it's like, don't branch out to environments if you're not, well, okay, I need to quantify more. Branch out to environments if it's just fun, if you just want to do it for fun, right? Do anything if you just want to do it for fun. But if fun doesn't feel like the driving factor, if just raw interest in that subject isn't what's driving you there, then what should be driving you there is that you know you need to improve at environments for something that you want to do. So let's say that you know you want to make comics and your comics need to have environments in them. Or let's say you know that you want to be an environment concept artist. So you need to be able to do environmental pieces to a high level finish or something like that. Then you should branch out pretty soon. You should start onboarding that very quickly. But if you don't have clear goals like that, and the way that this is usually experienced is that people think they have to get good at environments just because you're supposed to be the most badass artist possible and the most abstract badass artist that we can imagine is good at everything. That is a stupid reason to get into environments. If that's the only reason that you have, don't do it. Just keep drawing figures. Clearly, that's sort of where your natural temperament lies and stuff like that. I don't think it's a good idea to try to do everything because of this very lightly scrutinized, impulsive feeling that you're supposed to be good at everything. I think that should be avoided. Magnus, how do they work? Magnus, you are Magnet Man in disguise. I can't, dude, Magnet Man is having a life. My sister would be very gratified by all of this. Very gratified. Hey, Steven, did you ever consider illustrating for graphic novels or the comic book industry, or does that kind of work seem not as enticing to you? I get enticed every now and then, but it never sticks. I'm really more of a spend a long time on a single picture kind of a guy for now. That could change anytime. That could change anytime. And maybe when it does change, then I would want to make a comic or something like that. But yeah, I've always had a little bit of heartbreak at the idea. Same thing with animation. It's just like it involves too many individual drawings that it doesn't make sense to spend like a huge amount of time on. And I actually like sort of just being able to sink into one picture, you know? Lizzie Parker says, I'm wanting to take your course. Is there options for me to have access to you for questions and feedback? Yeah, the only version of the course that's available right now comes with feedback. Yeah, it gives you access to the community back of house where people post assignments. Yeah, later, and by later I mean next month, I'll introduce a version of the course that doesn't have feedback for a reduced price. But for now, you can only get it with feedback. And there you post your assignments and then I critique them and everything. I just realized how much French fries give me a false sense of security. They're still potatoes. They can't fool me progress. What is going on? What is going on in this community? Rugs Rabbit says, aren't environment artists more sought after since everyone wants to draw people instead? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say characters or environments are. It's sort of apples to oranges to make that comparison. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. I haven't found it that way. It's just very different markets, you know, like. There's also just way more environment work to be done. And there's usually less characters to be done. Like, even if you think about like a really epic story or game or something like that, just look at it as sheer numbers. There's almost always way more environments than characters, right? Like a game like God of War probably has, if we're not talking monsters, if we're not talking enemies, there's what, 20 or less characters to design, and there's, you know, 60, hundreds of environments, depending on how you want to break it up. It's just like there's just way more work for most kinds of stories and projects. There's more environments to be done than characters, and I think that really influences the nature of the job market, you know. Steven, would you do a stream with your sister? It would be difficult because she lives in Florida. It would be difficult. I have if you go on if you're on the Patreon, I do have a podcast episode with her where we talk about my youthful interest in drawing because I don't remember it, but she does. So I asked her to tell the story. Jane, I do not have the price yet. I'm still doing the numbers on that. I don't want to throw out a number out there that then it doesn't wind up being. So I have a number in mind. It's just there's a lot of cross-checking to do. But Steven, I want to be good at everything. You only think you want to be good at everything. But there's so few artists that are good at everything. And probably none of your favorite artists are good at everything. They're maybe masters at one, max 2 or 3 things, and they're just not masters of everything else. It's just not what usually happens. You know, people, as you experience more, as you spend more time drawing, as you understand drawing more, inevitably you find out there is always something that is the most interesting to you. There's some aspect of art that plunges you into the deepest parts, and that becomes your focus. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's what sort of makes people's voice precise and make a strong statement. If you ever make a comic, you should team up with your sister. She seems to know what she's doing. Apparently. Apparently. Hey, Steven, in the course, do other artists in the course have the ability to give feedback? Is it in the Discord? It is not on a Discord. It is in a community page that is like in the part of the course. The course is hosted on a platform called Kajabi. The community page is within the Kajabi system. It's just like it really functions very similarly to a Facebook group page. There can be different categories. People do. Oh, for the love of God, I'll just show it. What am I doing? This is how the feedback for the course works. I forgot that I'm doing screen share and not having my camera up. So this is what you get access to when you have the feedback version of the course. So these are different sections for general stuff, Q&A, meeting announcements, sketchbook threads for people, and then there's separate pages for each assignment. So you see sphere frontlit, sphere backlit, cube frontlit, cylinder frontlit. You go in there and you post your assignment, and everybody gets sort of their own little section, and then I come in and I give feedback. So I do drawovers, make edits, give notes, and you get your own little reply thread here. So you see, respond back to my feedback, I respond again, back and forth. And the good thing about this, and something that the students really seem to like, is that you get to read everybody else's feedback for the assignment. So you get to see what's working for people, what's not working for people. You can see common mistakes. You can see all of the notes that I give. So there's all of the information that's in the demo, but then there's also all of this note information and data. And this is arranged by... you can set it to feed, and then it only shows you the most recent stuff across all of the different areas. So you can see, you can view it by particular topic, and you do it by feed, and you see everything that everybody's posting in just order across all assignments. And yes, other students can comment in there. It's mostly me, you know. Giving feedback is a heavy lift. It's a lot of work. The students do give each other comments every now and then, which I greatly appreciate. I mean, it's very nice to see that, but it, you know, just to be perfectly honest, it is mostly me. But they do. You'll see, if you click through it, you'll see that the students do give each other reactions and notes. With the no feedback, will you be able to see other people's feedback? No, not right now. There's no way with the current system for me to let you into that community without, like, there's no way for you to not have the feedback ticket and for me to let you into that community and like keep you from posting. There's no way for me to prevent that. So no, to have access to that, you're gonna need to have the feedback ticket. And what can I say? The feedback's a really sweet deal. It's a really good thing to have. I would highly advise anybody who is interested at all in getting feedback to make it happen. Because yeah, you get feedback from me, and you also get to see all the past feedback and other students' feedback. It's a great deal. I know it's expensive, but clear. You could see from that little preview I gave you there, it's got to be. It's a huge time investment for me. It takes a lot of time. My sister is not buying my current project either. Rainbow crystals activate colors in mermaid scale so their tails can display colors in motion like octopus chromatophores do. Dude, your sister's sleeping on that? Come on. She'll come around. That's just a good idea. She'll come around. All right, folks, I've got to be gone in 10 minutes to stay on schedule for the day. So if anyone has any last questions, throw them in the chat. I will try to lightning round them before I go. But I have a hard out in 10 to stay on schedule. So I'm going to start getting ready to sign off here. William says, you said you can get it later though? Yeah, I am setting it up. When I release the no feedback version, I will have the sort of feedback ticket as a separate item so that if you want to upgrade later, you can. I'm trying to figure out all of the admin back of house setup to make all of that work. All right, let me cool it on the drawing here. Good night, Renola. Nick says, how do concept artists get work? Do you guys have an agent like company helps you get gigs, or is it just who you know? Some people have agents, but most don't. Because concept art gigs tend to vary very much in time scale. And I think that that's a little hard to work with as an agent, but I'm not an agent, so I don't really know. But when you're doing this stuff, it's like some contracts you get, it's like you'll do something for 2 days, 3 days, and then some things are you'll be on it for 3 weeks, and then other things it'll be like you're on a contract for a year. So it's like it varies a lot. But some people do have agents, but it's usually they've been doing it for a long time. They have a lot of regular clients. And they're very established. Most people, yeah, it's who you know. It's who you know. You can apply for things. There's definitely, I've applied for jobs and gotten them just with no connections and stuff like that. That does work, but yeah, naturally, like so many industries, a lot of it is going to be people recommending you, people you've worked with in the past, friends, things like that. What is that toolbar between your color picker and the layers? That is Layer Factory. It is a plugin. I don't really use it at all for anything you see on stream. The stuff I do on stream just doesn't require that much control usually. But if you do really crazy Photoshop files, I have it from working on huge art files that multiple artists use with hundreds of layers and stuff like that. Layer Factory does very useful things in those contexts, and it actually allows certain things that you otherwise can't do with layers without Layer Factory. It is by Sergey, and there's a link in my, let me make sure. If you read the description link all the way at the bottom, there is a link to check out Layer Factory. It is by Sergey Kritsky. It is available on Gumroad. So yeah, check out the description if you're interested in Layer Factory. Estros Munoz says, should I worry about the future or just keep going at my art skills? Well, it's fine to think about the future. And it's fine to plan about the future, but I don't think there's ever a good reason to worry. What does worry contribute? Not much. Think about the future, plan for the future, look forward wholesomely to the future, but worry about the future? I don't think there's very much good reason to worry, ever. Will there be a way to upgrade from the no feedback to feedback course later by only paying the excess later? Yes, it will be separated out like that. You're welcome, Daryl. Thanks for being here. What's a good thing to know when you blur pen for the splash blurry effect? I like doing that, but I mess it up often. I'm not very good at it myself. Just have whiteout available. You know, whiteout works wonders. You can fix mistakes and errors. Maybe some people use like a specific tool, like a rag when they blur ink, but I just use my finger. I haven't found any problems with that. Will we see you on Wednesday? Yep. Yeah, I'm usually doing Monday, Wednesday, Thursday these days, though I was live yesterday on Sunday because I missed last Thursday. And you guys, if I miss, I do try to do a makeup. I just try to do 3 a week. Do studios hire for as short as 2 months or less? Yes. Yeah, they do. There's I mean, on contract work like that, yeah, there's lots of small little gigs like that. There's sometimes like, because there's the previs push at the beginning of a project, and that, you know, depending on how much runway the project has, the previs push can be really long or, you know, be more compressed. But things change, things go wrong in the middle of projects. There's rewrites, big ideas need to be reconsidered. So somewhere in the middle, let's say, this is a banal example, it can get crazier than this, but they're like, oh, you know what, this level that we were so sure is gonna be in the game, we're replacing it with this level. And maybe you're doing that 6 months into production, and then, well, you need to do previs for the idea that's gonna replace it. So then if they don't have people who are already on hand, they may hire someone for a shorter stint because they only need to do previs on this one thing that they're using to sort of patch a problem. Magnus Marshall says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hairy will you draw people? 1,000, man. Dude, 1,000. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1,000. Absolutely. I will draw people as hairy as possible. They're more hair than person. They're more hair than person. They're more hair than person. Hairy people all the way to 1,000. More hair than person. Is there a name for the triangle palette? That is Coolorus. I don't know how to pronounce it actually. Cool, O-R. Check this shit out. Boom, screenshot. Boom, drag it over. Boom, make it big. That's the name right there, dog. Cool, O-R-U-S 2.5. I'd love to see a stream with Ahmed. He's always around. He's always around. Got 3 minutes here. Hey, I'm gonna go. Hey, Stephen, here's a slightly controversial question. Is it all right to use AI to create references to draw paint from? I would say that it is currently unethical. Wish I could give another answer, but that's just, yeah, I mean, poison trees, poison fruit, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's just no denying that and I'm talking about widely distributed commercial models like Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, Midjourney. I'm not talking about people who make their own data sets. I am talking about fine-tuning. Fine-tuning is a problem because even if you fine-tune something like Stable Diffusion, the initial capabilities are still conditioned by the ill-gotten works of so many people around the world. But if you're literally the kind of AI expert who's making their own thing from small data sets that you made yourself, there's obviously no problem with that. But the widely distributed commercial models that are appropriating the work of an entire generation, of every generation wholesale, yeah, that's always going to be a problem, and the ethical stain will remain on your work, in my opinion. How Russian landscape painters like Evan Shiskin achieve that realism? Is it something that comes from decades of practice alone? Well, you know, right temperament, right training, right talent. I don't know. I'm not Shishkin, so there's very little I can say about that. I know James Gurney is very interested in Shiskin and has done a lot of blog posts about that. You should consider going to James Gurney's post and doing a search in the top bar, write Shishkin, and read all of his posts about Shishkin. Boo. Would you be interested in doing more of those fun scripted shorter vids like that one on burnout? Oh, I'm interested in doing a lot of things. It's all just about time. Any recommended films about visual art? I don't. Films about visual art. There's not that many great painting movies. Like movies about paintings or painters, there's really not that many. Yeah, I'd have to think about that a little bit more. Red Diamond Man commands an army of hairy people. My God. My God. One last thing, your course form for imagination. Do I have lifetime access to the vids? Yes, there's no time limit on it. Boo. All right, I think we're out of questions, and I am at my hard out. Goodbye, my dear friends. I have to go. I really appreciate you all being here. Thank you for hanging out on stream. Good luck with all of your drawing endeavors. Remember not to worry. Remember to draw peacefully and happily. And I really appreciate that you are adding your drawings to the world. They're good for you. They're good for the world. It makes everything a better place. Mushy, anodyne sentence, very saccharine thing to say, but I do mean it all sincerely, etc., etc. And goodbye, everybody. Take care. I will see you on Wednesday.